Germany stands at a crossroads as the far-right Alternative for Germany, or AFD, is on the brink of a historic victory in Thuringia. In a stunning turn of events, the AFD is projected to win 33.2% of the vote, potentially making it the largest party in this eastern state. This is no ordinary election. It's the first time, since World War II, that a far-right party could take the lead in a regional election, a moment that will send shockwaves through the nation. The AFD's rise, under the leadership of its most polarizing figure, Bjorn Höcke, has pushed the conservative Q into second place with just 23.6% of the vote. This surge gives the AFD a powerful position, one that could allow them to block critical decisions in Thuringia, decisions that could reshape the very fabric of the state's governance, from the appointment of judges to the control of security forces. But this story doesn't end in Thuringia. In neighboring Saxony, the Jew is barely clinging to its long-held lead, with only a 1.1 percentage point advantage over the AFD. Michael Kretschmer, the conservative state premier, has called this a mandate to form a new government, yet he cannot ignore the growing shadow of the AFD, a shadow cast, he argues, by the deep fractures within Chancellor Olaf Scholz's coalition in Berlin. The results from Thuringia and Saxony are a clear rebuke to Scholz's government. All three parties in his coalition have lost ground, and with just a year until the national election, the message from voters is unmistakable. They are disillusioned, frustrated, and ready for change. The AFD, feeding on fears and frustrations, has found fertile ground in this discontent, and their message is resonating like never before. The roots of this rise are deep and complex. Economic anxiety, particularly in the former East Germany, where many feel left behind, has driven support for the AFD. The party's anti-immigration stance gained momentum following the 2015 refugee crisis, and recent events, like the tragic knife attack in Solingen, have only fueled their law and order rhetoric. But it's not just about policy. The AFD has mastered the art of populism, using emotional appeals and social media to position themselves as the true voice of the people, a voice that many feel has been ignored by the political elite in Berlin. And with each passing day, more and more Germans are listening. Alice Weidel, the AFD's joint leader, was blunt in her assessment, calling this outcome a requiem for the coalition. Her words are a stark reminder that the AFD is no longer a fringe movement, but a formidable force that could reshape the political landscape in ways that few would have imagined just a few years ago. As the dust settles on this election, one thing is clear: Germany is entering uncharted territory. The AFD's rise could spell the end of political stability as we know it, particularly in Thuringia and Saxony, where the power dynamics are now more uncertain than ever. The country watches, waits, and wonders what comes next. The rise of the far-right Alternative for Germany AFD presents several significant risks to both Germany's political stability and its broader societal cohesion. Erosion of democratic norms. The AFD's potential ability to block key decisions, such as the appointment of judges or security officials, could undermine the functioning of democratic institutions. This could lead to a paralysis of government operations in regions where the party holds significant power, weakening the rule of law and the effectiveness of governance. Increased polarization. The AFD's success could further polarize German society, deepening divides between those who support the party's nationalist and anti-immigration agenda and those who oppose it. This polarization might lead to increased social tensions and a rise in hate crimes as extremist views become more mainstream. Impact on minority rights. The AFD's platform, which includes strong anti-immigration policies and a focus on preserving what it sees as traditional German culture, poses a threat to the rights and safety of immigrants, refugees, and minority groups. There is a risk that these communities could face greater discrimination, marginalization, and violence if the AFD gains more power. Destabilization of the political landscape. The AFD's rise disrupts the traditional political order in Germany, making it more difficult for other parties to form stable coalitions. This instability could lead to frequent elections, short-lived governments, and a lack of coherent policy making at both the regional and national levels. Strain on Germany's international reputation. Germany's post-World War II identity has been built on a commitment to democracy, human rights, and European integration. The rise of a far-right party with nationalist and Eurosceptic tendencies could damage Germany's international reputation and weaken its leadership role in the European Union and other international organizations. Potential for authoritarianism. While the AFD is currently excluded from governing coalitions, its growing influence raises concerns about the potential for more authoritarian policies if the party were to gain significant power. This could lead to a rollback of civil liberties, press freedom, and judicial independence. Economic consequences. The AFD's nationalist economic policies, which include skepticism towards the European Union and globalization, could harm Germany's economy, which is heavily on exports and international trade. Their stance might also discourage foreign investment and strain relationships with key trading partners. Fragmentation of European unity. As a Eurosceptic party, the AFD's rise could contribute to the weakening of the European Union, particularly if similar movements gain traction in other member states. This could lead to a more fragmented and less cooperative Europe, with significant implications for regional stability and collective problem solving. These risks highlight the potential for the AFD's rise to not only reshape Germany's political landscape, but also to have far-reaching effects on social harmony, economic stability, and the country's role on the global stage.